This is my beautiful Orbea Orca, but I've modified it to make it even lighter. It weighs just 6.1 kilograms, including pedals, making it UCI illegal. So I'm going to go through all of the modifications that I've made and how much weight they save. But that's not all. This isn't a crazy, impractical weight-weenie build with exotic, super light, flexible components and tyres made from tracing paper. This is a fully functional, practical road bike that, well, is of a spec and build that would be capable of winning the Tour de France. Obviously not with me riding it, but hopefully you get my point. So, let's get to it. I've got big plans for this bike that I can't wait to do. One of the things I'm hoping to do is to beat my PB time up Alpe d'Huez. And I also just love the way that it looks. I think the tan sidewalls on these Pirelli P Zeros just really suit the bike and that it looks blooming great. Feel free to disagree in the comments. But there's a problem with lightweight, weight-weenie builds. And this is something that's not often addressed, but when it comes to lightweight builds, there's a line. And on one side of that line, you have super practical, heavy bikes. And on the other side of that line, you have super crazy weight-weenie builds that can become pretty impractical. Components can be so light that they're no longer stiff and are pretty flexible. Your brakes and gears might not work as well, and the bike just might not be as comfortable. Now, I want a bike that is still comfortable. I want tyres that have puncture protection and are bigger and give more comfort. I want brakes and gears that don't sacrifice performance, and I want the bike to be stiff. I want this to be a bike that is capable of being raced at the highest level of the sport, in theory. Okay, yes, not by me, but with that considered, that was how I chose the bits for this bike. I didn't want to sacrifice stuff, so let's go through the mods. The first thing I'm going to tell you about is the wheels, because they look absolutely fantastic. They're Princeton Carbon Works Alta, so that's the lightest wheel that they do. It's their climbing wheel. Still pretty aero, though, keeping with a bit of practicality. So they're 3532s, so 35 millimeters deep at the widest point, 32 at the shallowest point, with that wavy profile for aerodynamic stability. And I think they match the bike really well, especially with the silver graphics, matches the silver Orbea graphics on the frame. And they come with a variety of different hub options that you can select, but I didn't go for the lightest option. So the lightest one are the Tactic Racing TR01s, but along the lines of that practicality thing, I went for the next lightest, which was DT Swiss 180s. They sound good, these. They're not super loud, which I like. And also, when you're at slow speed, they get quieter. Not all hubs do that. But yeah, very smooth. So as for the weight saving, well, the previous wheels I had in here were also Princeton Carbon Works. They were 4.550s, so a little bit deeper. That extra depth is about 100 grams extra weight, so 100 grams saved there. The hubs were also a lower spec hub than these 180s, slightly heavier. They were White Industries hubs, so another sort of 100 grams saved on the hubs there as well. These wheels are weighing just slightly over, like it was 1,202 grams, so very light. There are lighter wheels out there. There are sub-kilo wheel sets that you can get. But to do that, you're typically looking at getting tubulars, which are slower, or with some weight-weenie builds, the super lightweight wheels you can get, but they're not aero at all, and you need aero. And also, they can be quite flexible, whereas these are incredibly stiff. And they're actually the wheels that are used by Ineos Grenadiers whenever they take on mountain stages. So next are tyres. Now these are the P0 RS from Pirelli. They're top of the range sort of all-round performance tyre. But they're now in the retro version, which has the retro sidewall on it, which I love. I think it looks really smart on this particular bike. And there's actually a significant weight saving going on here. So previously I had the wheels set up tubeless, but these are the tube-specific tyre, so you can't set these tyres up tubeless, but the advantage there is that they're significantly lighter. So they're 65 grams lighter per tyre by being a tube-type tyre than the tubeless one. And in conjunction with that, I'm running their TPU tubes, but it's their Evo Smart Tube, so it's a lighter one they make now, just 35 grams each. So there's a saving to be had there, because with running sealant in the tyres, you'd typically run at least 30 grams of sealant, and then you've got the valves as well, which add a little bit of weight. And so overall, across the bike, you're looking at about 140, 150 grams saved just in tyres and tubes, which in terms of bang for buck is probably the best weight saving on the bike. One thing to point out is you could save a lot more weight on your tyres, and it's common that when doing lightweight builds, people put velodrome tyres on track tyres or super lightweight time trial tyres that have zero puncture protection. You can also save weight by dropping down to a 23mm. These are 28s because that is what I want to use, and I want it to be practical. And these tyres are blooming great. I mean, they're the tyres that have been used by the likes of Mathieu van der Poel and Mads Pedersen to win loads of races this year. Blooming good tyres. I'm going to show you the cockpit now, because this is really cool. This is from a company called Black Tech, based in Taiwan, and it's something that I actually saw at the Taipei Bike Show this year. So this is an integrated one-piece bar and stem. It comes in pretty much any size you can think of, and it's just 245 grams, making it very light. So the carbon bar that I had on here before was very light. That was just 190 grams. But the stem was approaching 200 grams. It was alloy, very stiff, but quite a bit heavier. So that's a significant saving that's made there. And it's the same size, so 130 mil stem and a 38 bar, with my shifters just angled in a bit how I like them. Also has this nice integrated out front mount. But one of the coolest things about it is just how it's all nice and integrated, and all the cables are hidden. It's very smart. They do different 3D printed top caps, depending on the kind of bike that you have, so that it all just fits nice and flush. And while I'm here, I'm going to pop my Wahoo on the mount because, well, I'm using the Bolt because it's the smallest, lightest head unit they do. And whenever I'm doing like a race or an event or something, and I want it to be small and light and a bit more aero, that's the one I use. But this mount's quite good because you could fit the Ace on there as well. It's nice and long. So onto the saddle now. This might be a bit controversial for a few people. Because I've been banging on about like practicality and not sort of weight-weenie stuff, and I've got like a bare carbon saddle on there. So this is the Selle Italia SLR Techno. So it's the exact same shape as the SLR Boost with carbon rails that I blooming love and use all the time. And because it's the exact same shape and profile, I actually find it pretty comfortable. If I was doing a crazy long endurance ride, like, you know, when I rode up Monte Grappa or something, yes, like I wouldn't use this. But for several hours, I've had no issues with it. So that's why it's on there. But I appreciate that some people might think, oh, that's not very practical. So this weighs 95 grams, which is very, very light. The one that I normally use for all of the big endurance rides I've ever done, that's only 30 grams heavier, 125 grams. So I could easily swap that back and put that other saddle on if it made you happier and able to sleep at night. And it would still be incredibly light. It would still be less than 6.2 kilograms. So yeah, there you go. So while I'm here, I'll mention the seat post, because that's not stock. So the standard one was 190 grams. This is one from a company called Bjorn Cycles that makes quite lightweight bits, and it weighs just 120 grams. But the crucial thing is it's still rated to 120 kilograms, meaning that it still is, you know, well, I mean, that's all, well, not quite double my weight, but yeah, it's still going to hopefully be strong enough and practical, but a significant saving. The other thing is, on this particular bike, for those that are unaware, the Di2 cigar battery is mounted in the seat post, so I just took that out and I've remounted it inside there too. Bottle cages next, and these are really cool. So these are Topeak's top of the line cage. They're called the Fetzer R10, and they're just 10 grams each. Now, the cages that I had on before were Topeak's carbon shuttle cages, very light, but 20 grams each. So I've saved 20 grams across the both bottle cages. One of the things that also helps that is they have titanium bolts. Just make sure you put grease on there so you don't get galvanic corrosion, but they actually save a couple of grams. So these are made of Kevlar in this nice weave pattern, and well, I think they look really smart. You can get them in all black, but I went for this red weave one because it ties in with the red on the frame. But the crucial thing with these is that they do actually hold a bottle really securely, which is often the undoing of many a weight-weenie lightweight bottle cage. Incidentally, Camelback GCN water bottles available at shop.global cycling network. Crankset next, and this is probably the biggest single weight saving on the bike. So the standard Dura Ace chain set and chain rings that I had on there were 696 grams, whereas this one, these carbon cranks, they're from a Chinese brand called Ellie Lee. This is their top-of-the-range X90 crank, and it's just 279 grams. When it's fitted with the Dura Ace chain rings that I've kept the same, it's then 385 grams, but still massive weight saving on there, and it's got a power meter spider too. Same length, 170 millimeter cranks I had before. But as for the chain rings and also the cassette, there are, again, lighter weight-weenie options out there. You can get crazy carbon lightweight chain rings and all sorts, but I've kept with Dura Ace because it works and it shifts amazing. The shifting on the Dura Ace cassette and the chain rings, it's just as good as it gets, and I didn't want to compromise on that. On the cassette, that is an 1134 cassette as well. You could save a bit of weight by going for a closer ratioed, smaller cassette, but I want that 34 tooth. Other thing that's standard is the bottom bracket. You can save a little bit of weight, often by switching to a ceramic bottom bracket. As ceramic bearings typically weigh a little bit less than steel, but it's only a tiny amount. And I found that on this frame, the alignment is really, really good, and the bottom bracket with just a stock BB spins very nicely, and I've got no issue. So I think I'm going to keep that until it needs replacing and it's worn out. I think that's about it, apart from the pedals, which are Wahoo Speedplay Nanos. So they are the lightest one they do with titanium axles, just 168 grams a pair, so very light as well. Yeah. I'm really happy with this. I'm loving it, and it feels blooming incredible. I'm gonna pick it up again because it is just like, it is really light. I can't wait to take this to the mountains and but hopefully go up them faster than I've ever done before. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. Let us know what you thought of the mods. Let us know if you've got any suggestions for further mods I could do to make it any lighter than it already is, maybe under 6 kilograms. But I'm going to go now. Love you. Bye. Oh, bottle.